everyone! This is a tale of the stag and his reflection. Once upon a time, there lived a proud stag. Now this stag was very handsome. His coat was the color of burnished gold. His eyes shone like amber, and he had a neck like polished ivory. But most of all, he greatly admired the graceful arch of his antlers. He would often stand for hours gazing at his reflection in the clear waters of a nearby lake, admiring his antlers, which grew wider and more magnificent each year. One day, as he stood by the lake, drinking from a crystal spring, he saw himself mirrored in the clear water. He greatly admired the graceful arch of his antlers, but he was very much ashamed of his spindling legs. "How can it be," he sighed, "that I should be cursed with such legs when I have so magnificent a crown? Ah!" At that moment, he scented a panther and in an instant was bounding away through the forest. But as he ran, his wide-spreading antlers caught in the branches of the trees, and soon the panther overtook him. Then the stag perceived that the legs of which he was so ashamed would have saved him, had it not been for the useless ornaments on his head. The stag, chagrined and disheartened, approached the lake and saw the mocking panthers watching him from a distance. He hung his head in shame. All the stags in the forest had fine antlers, yet each possessed strong, sturdy legs, except him. Why was he cursed with spindly legs? As the years passed, the stag grew older. His coat grew dull, his eyes lost their luster, and the vibrant red of his youth faded to a tired brown. The once graceful arch of his antlers had been snagged and broken in many a fight, and now they hung heavy and lifeless on his head. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the old stag stood by the lake, his reflection staring back at him, a sad mockery of his former self. Suddenly, he heard a gentle voice. "Why do you mock me, old stag?" he asked, startled. The voice came from the lake itself. "The water nymphs are playing, old stag," said the voice. "We are not mocking you. We are merely curious. You have been here every evening for many years, and we have watched you grow from a young stag into an old one. Why do you come here every night to grieve?" The old stag sighed. "I come here to grieve because I am cursed with spindly legs, while other stags have strong, sturdy legs. I am cursed with spindly legs, while other stags have strong, sturdy legs. And I have wasted my life running from danger, all because of my ridiculous legs and useless antlers." The water nymphs laughed, and the sound was like the tinkling of bells. "You foolish stag," said one of the nymphs, "it is your antlers that have caused you all your trouble. If you had been content with plain, unadorned antlers, you would not have had so many fights, and your legs would not have grown so weak. Your legs were never spindly. They were strong and swift, and it was because of them that you could run so fast. And if you had not been so proud, perhaps you would not have seen the panther approaching you in the first place." The old stag hung his head. He had never thought of it that way before. All his life, he had despised his legs and admired his antlers. And now his legs were weak and his antlers were broken. I wasted my life running from danger, he said, sighing. If only I had stopped to think, I might have realized that the thing I despised had kept me alive. Often does this happen, little stag, said one of the nymphs. How often do we despise what is useful and admire what is ornamental? The old stag looked at his reflection in the lake. He no longer saw a foolish, weak-legged stag. He saw a stag who had lived a full life, a stag whose legs had carried him through the forest for many years. A stag whose antlers had been the pride of the forest in his youth. From that day on, the old stag walked proudly through the forest. He no longer sighed or hung his head. He had learned that it is our duty to accept ourselves as we are, ornaments and all. Ornaments and all. We often make much of the ornamental and despise the useful.